I'm Kit, and this is Caleb.
And we're the Trophy Bros.
Welcome to our podcast.
Listen as we share our crazy,
Off the wall,
and oftentimes ridiculous thoughts.
enjoy the episode.
All right, we're back with Trophy Bros. We are at camp this week.
At camp.
At camp.
Right.
So I'm Caleb, this is Kit, and we have two of our camp sponsors with us this week. We have Jaycee over here and Laura Wag with us. And so we're at camp.
Give a little wave.
Yeah. And so it is a little bit different for us this week. And so we thought we would talk about the different things that go on at youth camp for us. And so we thought we would talk about the traditional things that go on, some of the stereotypicals that go on for us. And I've been in camp ministry for a long time. This is probably my 25th year of student ministry going on. And so one of the things
Bless your heart.
I know.
Bless your heart.
I wonder how many years of my life have been taken from me for doing camp ministry for so long. And so we were just wondering, how many camps have you guys been to in your life? Like, I'm not talking about going like camping out, like in your backyard or anything like that, but it can be like a YMCA camp or something like that, church camp, Boy Scout camp, or some Girl Scout camp.
I grew up going to Lake Texoma Lutheran Camp in probably 5 summers. And then I worked at Camp Grady Spruce for 3 summers where I met Ryan. And then I've been to children's camp.
Ryan's your husband, right?
Ryan's my husband. Children's camp.
So you
and
found
Camp
love at
Hope.
camp.
Love at camp. We were the Camp Romance. People still talk about us today. The Camp Copus one year, and then was it Big Country Sky Camp or something in Looters?
That's like over there by Falls Creek, isn't it? I think it is. No, that's over there by
That one place.
Breckenridge. That's back over by Breckenridge.
Yeah, kind of over there.
First year to go to youth camp?
Well, last year I went to Seattle. That should
Yeah, that camp. I consider that like a camp.
it was rough.
You're sleeping on a night mattress.
One room.
Sure have upgraded this year.
Fancy.
We're not talking about that. Yeah. What about you, Laura?
I grew up going to Lake Lavon for children's camp, and then I went to Sunday's camp, which was in Cedar Creek during youth. And then I've been to several. I've probably done like 6 or 7 years as a camp counselor, but this is my first time going to youth camp with my own youth,
With your kids?
with my own kids.
What about you?
Well, I've been to Heart of Texas, same as our children's, for 2 years. And I went the 4 years through high school. And this is my first year back as a sponsor. So, and I actually have a child here as well. So, yeah. So not as many as y'all. That's for sure.
Yeah, for me, I've probably have been well over 100 youth camps.
That's crazy.
It's been stupid because there was a period where I traveled and did probably over 15 youth camps a summer, just speaking at them or working them.
How do you do 15 a summer? Is there 15 weeks in a summer?
No, but I would do.
There used to be.
Yeah, they probably used to be. But like when I would speak at them, it would be like I would do at least 2 a week. Like it would be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday would be one camp, and then when they left on a Wednesday, they would be coming that Wednesday afternoon. So it was just like this never-ending process.
Never ending.
Yeah, felt like it at least.
There's no way I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, there are
I'm
those.
assuming that's before you had kids and marriage, and
Well, some of them were.
the majority of it, let's say that.
Yeah. Yeah, but what was your favorite one of those camps? I mean, probably when you met Ryan, probably was your. Maybe that was your worst. Maybe that was the most fruitful.
No, that was a good time. I got to drive ski boats and teach kids how to ski, and then that was back when YMCA was trying to bring the sea back into it, and so we did chapel, and we started Survivor and learned how to barefoot ski. So that was fun, but it's also pretty cool to be here with your kids.
You taught how to barefoot ski? Oh, that's impressive.
Can you do it now?
No,
That's impressive.
was never like really good because we had a boom thing that went out from the boats. So I wouldn't say I ever was successful at anything but being drug around, but Ryan could do it.
Those who can't teach.
That's right.
Yeah.
Excellent teacher.
What about you, Laura? What made your camp days?
Is it that hot boy?
It was lots of hot boys. That's why I kept going back. I just like the camp atmosphere. I always have. Having been homeschooled, like it was it was a fun time to get out and meet other people and socialize. I think that's why I liked it so much too, because
I was blown away when I found out you were homeschooling.
my whole life
You got the people.
got to people for a
Yeah.
whole week with a lot of freedoms,
Yeah.
even though my mom always went to all the camps with me. Mom, but
Well,
yeah, but still.
So, did your camps do talent shows? Like, did y'all have talent shows?
Yes.
Like, were they cringy? Did you have people who shouldn't have been in the talent show that were in talent shows?
Yes, I remember Ryan was always in the talent show. Ryan was in the talent show. Because you needed some fillers, and he sang this ridiculous song. I don't even remember how it goes, but something about like it was a farm song. And when we went back with Callie to outdoor ed, he did it again. It was the most embarrassed I've ever been. It's like
Ryan's gonna hate us after this podcast.
some pig sounds.
Throwing him under the bus.
No, we'll have to redo it. We'll have to do it. Maybe at the church talent show this year.
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
Did you ever do it?
I didn't do the talent show. I didn't have any talent, but they were always really bad because they never said no to anybody.
Did y'all ever like? I remember growing up. It was
You just
always,
loved
it
so
was always the Ghostbuster theme song. Like all the girls always had like some kind of dance that they would always do to the theme song of Ghostbuster. Yeah.
we were always being like really dark in the building that we were in, wood paneling, like really dark, and there would be flashing like, strobe lights that were kind of mediocre, and then a lot of fog. And really, that's really what I remember the most. I don't remember much of the talent.
Did they handle snakes at that?
I remember a lot of Michael W. Smith songs at church.
Yeah.
Yep, back in the day.
No, I don't know. We just had like a talent show last night at our camp that we're at here, and they like vetted a bunch. Like there was probably 30 people who tried out, and they only like submitted 5.
Yeah, I think there was only 5. So
And it wasn't just like song. Like typically it was like song or dance, but like I think they had like somebody who like did the feats of strength or something like that. It was
yeah,
like,
I saw that or I heard it anyway.
which sounds kind of corny, but they kind of made it like a comedy type
Did you
thing.
go?
Like we
Yeah, we sat on y'all's
porch.
like front porch where the rocking chairs are.
Oh yeah,
We sat out there and enjoyed it.
you didn't invite us.
You told us sleep
That's
hard.
cool. We might have been awake.
We heard Taylor Swift,
Yeah, somebody sang Taylor Swift, like one of her old country songs.
so that was delightful.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, talent shows, yay or nay? I say nay on them.
No, I'm not a big fan myself.
But like today was the 5K here at camp, and so you have I've always had the kid that who never ever runs at home, but like for some reason they think I'm going to get up early at church camp and I'm going to run. I don't know what if they're trying to impress somebody or if they're just trying to annoy the fire out of their youth pastor by waking them up like at 5:30. And I'm going to wake everybody else up by turning on the lights. And I'm going to get my running shoes on. And they're going to go run. And it just annoys the fire out of me. Like, I don't want to get up. I don't want you to go run. I'm not going to go run with you. Like, are you sneaking out?
Yeah. Well, luckily we ain't had that too much this week. All my kids have been a bear to wake up.
Well, I was thinking somebody was going to get up today and go run the 5K. Like,
Well, I had 2 kids and that was totally on me.
nobody got up and ran the 5K this
I
morning.
set my alarm for PM instead of AM.
But I got
oh well. I mean, was that on purpose or?
I've been getting up at 5:30 to take my shower.
Well, you posted something on Facebook before we came to camp, and it was something Shane Pruitt posted, like all the stereotypical things of youth camp, and it's like the kid who comes to youth camp on a scholarship, and like they have no money, but then brings $200 worth of spending money.
And they always have brand new shoes.
Yeah, brand new
And
shoes.
they spend all $200 the first day they're here,
First day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
buying all the camp merch,
We've had a few of those.
and they're all decked out in their hats and hoodies and
The whole new wardrobe.
Yeah.
the binders,
Well, that's like here too.
bracelets.
Like, they won't eat in the cafeteria, but they'll go eat Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. Yeah, for sure.
Come on now.
Well,
Camp romance. Like, you've already talked about how you met your guy, met your husband, camp.
romance.
Yeah, kid, you
Yeah.
ever have you a sugar mama at camp?
No, supposedly Kaylee swears up and down that's where she was trying to drop the hints, and I just was too dumb to realize, I guess.
You're too hard up, like winning that 3-on-3 tournament.
No, I don't even remember hardly my camps.
You're just focusing on the Lord.
You were.
Yeah.
That and you were just
Yes, I was.
so captivated. Yeah, that's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
But no, Kaylee, like I said, swears up and down that's where she was dropping her hints for me.
Yeah, it was one of those things on that list too, was the guy who was so willing to be spiritually available for all the ladies. Yeah, I might have been that guy when I was growing up that was spiritually available. The guys who like would go on spiritual or like on prayer walks with ladies. Let's go on prayer walk.
Still pray.
I was never one to have like the camp romance, but I know like growing up, we had a church, like kind of like a sister church that we would go to camp with growing up. Like when I just went into youth ministry, it was like the same church that would always go to camp with us. And so their church, this other church had youth guys. They would do like panty raids. And so they had the thing that they were always what they called Scooby snacks. They were trying to get a kiss from their girls. And so they called getting the kiss a Scooby snack. And so they would always, that's what they all said, like, I'm gonna get a Scooby snack at camp this year. Which was always
Never heard
weird.
that link.
I've never heard that either.
No, I've never heard it from anywhere else either. But that was like, and so like for the talent show, they would all get up there and they would play like the theme song to Scooby Doo, and they'd get up there and do like a real like stupid little line dance or something like
that makes sense now because like in our notes you put can't romance Scooby snacks.
I don't know.
How
About
does
that.
this even match up, buddy?
And so they would get up there and kind of do like the little line dance, and then to the Scooby Doo Where Are You theme song. That's how. I mean, it was cringy for me. I'm like, dude,
Oh yeah, I could see one.
yeah. Like, there's no need for that.
That's
The
dumb.
camp romance, like PDA, put up. Y'all ever heard the Making Purple?
Not that either. So I'm sorry.
never
I was reading my.
Yeah,
Making Purple. Like
on these notes.
when you have a baby boy, it's blue. When you have a baby girl, it's pink. And when you put them together, hand holding, blue and red make purple. So, goodness. I guess that's just a youth minister thing.
Googled that because I was trying to figure out what it was, and when I Googled it, it just said how to make purple paint, like blending the colors.
Oh
But
my
I didn't
gosh.
put it all together because
Making
I
purple.
think that maybe is made up
No, it
by
is
you.
like, no.
So yeah,
Has it?
the Scooby snack to make it purple.
No,
Making
none of the-
Wait, let him
Making
explain.
Purple is like a legit, like maybe I just learned it in youth ministry, like when I like went to college.
Obviously,
Yeah, Making Purple. That's like when you do your like your new orientation at Houston Elementary. Okay.
It's like, we're not gonna make purple.
We're not making purple.
Certainly or not.
we certainly don't.
Yeah.
No,
No making purple. No pada.
no.
Okay,
No,
No pada.
we're gonna start saying that.
And no making purple.
No making purple.
Yeah.
No Scooby snacks.
No Scooby snack. No making purple. I think my kids feel like our students know no making purple. Like I feel like I've said that to them.
Should I? I'm going to ask my kids.
I
No
don't
making
think so.
I've
I've
never heard
heard
them
it.
mention that ever.
I've never even heard you say
I've
it.
never even heard that. I think
Yeah.
you're what?
So-
I don't know. Well,
But yeah,
Yeah, but I say I never had a camp romance at camp myself until I was a grown guy, like in college, and then I went to camp as a intern / interim, and then my wife, who wasn't my wife, she wasn't even my girlfriend. at
was
the
she
time.
dropping hints like
Huh?
my wife said?
No, but I went and I was in charge of junior high boys, and Mindy, my wife now, was in charge of the junior high girls. We had to spend a lot of time together because my guys and her girls spent a lot of time doing activities together, and I was dating somebody else at the time. But we spent so much time together, we hit it off, and like, I went off back home and dumped my girlfriend.
So dude,
2 weeks later, we were dating. But I think it's some of my students, so they saw that we were just like
two peas in a
we were
pod.
two peas in a pod. And so my students they were pretty well off. They had like a pool house, and they like, hey, we're gonna have a get together. We're gonna watch some movies and all this. And so they invited me over. And we're gonna hang out in the pool house. And so I get there, and it's just like two of them, and it's like me and Mindy. And like, what are we watching? Like, when is everybody else gonna get there? And it's like me and Mindy. And so they say, yeah, we're gonna go get some snacks. And so they leave me and Mindy in the pool house. They crank the air conditioning down to where it's like freezing cold.
Where y'all had to share a blanket.
And we watched Pootie Tang and Strange Brew. Like, have you ever heard of the movie Pootie Tang?
You've never seen Booty
It sounds like it's a dirty movie, but it's not a dirty movie.
I've never even heard of that.
Strange Brew, like we'd never heard of it. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of like our wasn't a date. We didn't know. We both went into it kind of blindly, and then
It ended up being a date though.
wound up
You
being
just didn't
kind of
know.
like our first kind of camp romance kind of was fertilized right there. That sounded weird right there.
Especially
That-
when you say
that-
fertilize.
That kind of made me like, so, okay.
Yeah, that sounded dirty.
That
Very
is.
dirty right there.
You can't say fertilize.
Yeah, camp romance.
It's
Sorry.
like that. The same as frolic and
I think,
that's
you know,
weird.
kind of, fertile. I just can't get that out of my mind now, man. The fertilizer.
Yeah. Camp pranks. Did y'all ever do any camp pranks?
For sure.
Somebody said, who was it? Did anybody, y'all didn't ever do camp pranks?
I did not.
What? You did goody two shoe?
Yeah,
Oh my.
you might get in trouble.
Well, you did one last summer with Callie and the other one.
Yeah. What? That wasn't at camp though.
Seattle Conference.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
you said Seattle counts.
Yes. Yeah.
And the underwear? Is that what?
Yeah. Well,
It's
we
just-
went on family.
I remember the family vacation story.
Yeah. So Callie's officially part of our family because she goes on vacation with
So y'all
us.
took the underwear from.
No, when we got to like our Airbnb that we stayed at
Yeah.
in our Airbnb, like somebody left like the world's biggest pair of granny panties. And so I took a Sharpie and wrote Callie in it. And so I brought them home. Like, so when she graduates, if she graduates,
Brought those home?
yeah.
Then to Seattle.
Did you
I
wash
took them to Seattle and then like I put them on the rear view mirror. They were washed. They were in the washing machine and dryer.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we took those. I almost took them to like the volleyball games and
Had to
softball
put them on a
games.
flagpole.
Yeah. I should have brought them here.
So what kind of pranks did you pull, Jaycee? Because I just don't see you being the prankster.
Little pranks, but when we worked at camp, it happened all the time. Like where they would string people's underwear up the flagpole, like parent trap stuff, and they would take people's mattresses and they would take them down to the plate, clean up your bed. I mean, they did
Mm.
quite that. Me myself, I don't want to get in trouble.
Well, when we went to San Angelo State for church or youth camp, we would take the mattresses because in their dorms they were like pretty, like apartment buildings, like 6, 7 stories tall, and we were mattress surf down the stairs with them. Then in the common area, because it's kind of like our dorms now that we're sleeping in this week. They were old. They had 2 people to a room. They were Jack and Jill bathroom. But I remember it was me, Chase, Colin Crawford, and Daniel Bradley. We all loaded the elevators up with all the common room furniture to where nobody could get on the elevator. And so we were on the 8th floor at that time, and the security guard comes running up the stairs because obviously the elevator's full of furniture, and he's out of breath. He's like, unload it now. And so we had to unload it. And so, yeah. But it's so funny because I remember one kid did try to get on the elevator, and he comes up, and he's just curled up there like a cat on top of the chair, sitting in the elevator. It was pretty funny, but yeah.
We had Mindy tells pranks that they did. They duct tape a girl to her bed, like on the top bunk. Then it was like the nerdiest girl, and she went to my high school, and she was like the valedictorian. Like, yeah, valedictorian, your home school. She was a valedictorian at our school, and she was like, and she would flaunt it. She was arrogant about it, and so they duct taped her to her bed, top bunk, and then they set her alarm right by her head, and they set it to go off and left, and it was going off, and she was trying to squirm to get it out, and she hated, like, she hates Mindy to this day because of that. Mindy got a prank pulled on her too that to this day haunts her to where she can't eat brownies. Well, she's just now starting to eat brownies. Somebody fixed a big tray of brownies and they had the frosting on it, and they put X-Lax in it. Like so much X-Lax that it dehydrated them to the point to where they were on the verge of having to go to the hospital. Like it was horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. So
I would have
Strange.
been in them.
so what they did is they went to the horse corral and got horse poop and filled that young man's luggage up with horse poop. And so
Mine was nothing compared to that.
why horse poop? Why didn't he just like contain all yours? Yeah, no, mine. I've done some things. I'm always proactive in my pranks. Like before somebody pranks me, I'm like, I'm going to make it look like somebody pranked me, and then blame other people. Like so, as a youth pastor, I had an intern one year that I made it look like he pranked me. And so I took everything out of my dorm room and hid it on the bus that we came on. And so all the other kids were pranking people. And so I hid all my stuff on our bus. And I said, all right, guys, who took my stuff out of my room? And it was like 2 days before we left. And so I told my intern, I said, what'd you do with my stuff? Like, I've got to have a good night's sleep. It's like, I'm driving our bus home. Like, it's 13 hours away from our place. Like, I've got to have a good night's sleep. It's like, I can't, you're in charge of these kids, these junior high kids. Like, I've got to have a good night's sleep. I'm going to have to go to the Best Western down the street. Like, I've got to have a good night's sleep. Like, you got to figure it out. Like, just give me my stuff back. What'd you do with it? Like, and so he's searching all of these kids' rooms, and he's freaking out. He is freaking out. He called the campus security. I told my other sponsors like what I had done, just so they would know it was gone. And I kind of felt bad that my intern was our pastor's kid. I called our pastor just to let him know it. That way, if he called him, just so he'd have a heads up. But he was sweating bullets. So finally, after our church group time, after he said, "Guys, we're gonna pray that Caleb stuff shows up."
Shows up on the bus.
So I had one of my sponsors go back out to the bus and go put it back in my room and set it up. That way, after we prayed for it, it was set up. And it was like a spiritual moment, miracle. But yeah, after I told him like the next day, he was like, man, felt like a super spiritual God really showed up in a miraculous way. But yeah, camp pranks get out of hand. As I've gotten older, some of those things I really have locked down on those things because I don't want it to really kind of squelch the spirit at camp or anything like that. But yeah, so I guess in my old age, I've kind of let those things kind of go by the wayside. Have you ever had one of those camp speakers that have kind of really just lit a fire underneath you, inspired you, like when you get home, that maybe it's the one that kind of helped you, led you to the Lord?
Yeah, when we were down in San Angelo one year, we had the Texas Tech chaplain for the football team. He was a speaker, and being so involved in sports and everything, he related a lot to that. And man, it's a lot of that stuff kind of hit home. And you get that old coach too that just gives you that, it just kind of lights that fire underneath you. And I mean, that was I thought one of the best summers I ever had going to camp. But yeah.
I remember when I was at Texoma, you were there for 2 or 3 weeks, and so all the counselors took turns leading like campfire and stuff. And there was this like hippie counselor. He never wore shoes. His hair was long, and who knows if he ever took a shower. But like when it was his turn to do campfire, he spoke so eloquently, and like to this day, like I can still remember there we are at the lake, and this Kool-Aid analogy of pouring it into the water. Like, is Kool-Aid gone? No, I mean, you can't taste it, you can't see it, but like once you accept God and He's in your heart, like there's not there. I mean, it's always there. So still remember that.
Yeah, it's good.
More of it, my mom.
Well, at children's camp, it was the same family
Uh,
every year. They came for whatever reason. We were always there on that same weekend. They were always there. They loved the music and the preaching.
Yeah.
And I can't remember their names right now, but they were always there. And then youth camp, I really don't always remember because I was really just trying to survive because I'm the girl they would have duct taped to the bed, except I wasn't a bragger. So
Yeah.
I was just kind of
You got duct tape to the bed?
No, they didn't ever do anything to me. I just always had to stand guard.
I mean, I've heard so many phenomenal speakers. I've been blessed to, like, I had a great youth pastor that would bring in some great communicators. Like we had like Vody Bacham that would come in and speak like at winter retreats and stuff like that. And if you've never heard Vody Bacham, he's like a great communicator. Like I remember like as a teenager, like, who's a Vody Bacham? Like in my youth pastor, like he's this nerdy white guy that from California, and then he gets there as this huge, massive black guy, and then he's just like from Cambridge, like, and he's just like throwing down great theological like sermons, but it's like so great, and he's just, man, to this day he preaches in Houston and has written some incredible books, and I'm like, man, such incredible wisdom that, man, I just took it for granted. And so even to this day, I watch this stuff on YouTube. I'm like, I grew up watching this and listening to this as a teenager. There's been some that I've been a part of too that were like, man, I could have done without that too.
Yeah.
Working camps, I've seen some. Like there was I don't say names because I know their ministry has ministered to people, and I don't ever want to take away from that, because if one person has come to know the Lord because of that, I don't ever want to take away from that. But I've heard some doozies, and I've been a part of some that I'm like, let's not defame and cheapen what the Lord has done either. If God is calling you to ministry, let's take it serious.
Yeah.
And put it to good use. Camp ministry is an incredible ministry, and it has changed the trajectory of so many teenagers and transformed our Christian faith in so many different ways.
So
Actually, I think one of the biggest wins I feel like is sometimes kids these days get a bad rap, but I feel like when you're with all of these kids, not just our kids, but this worship center full of kids, it kind of restores your hope. It's not all, it's not all lost. Like, I think we want to say that sometimes, but there are still good kids doing good things. And I mean, obviously I'm proud of my boys. They step up. I like seeing that. I feel like they do that, but then I see them do that. And I stand back and watch that, and hopefully they're not watching me watch them. I don't want them to see that, because I want to see how they really are, like when I'm not there. And so I think that's kind of just been a really good thing to see this week.
back to, learning something new. I didn't know like Laura was a professional TikToker.
Yes, I'm trying to grow my TikTok following.
Look, it is. Let's go.
Well, I have no fancy name. It's just Laura.Waggoner, Wagggoner.
I told her we're going to fix that.
And we'll fix it, and then, they can update later with my new handle or whatever it's called. I'm not really up in the lingo. I talk a lot about our farm life and our ranch, because that's really what we do every day, but stay tuned, because I probably have some OTDs once school gets back in session, and I'm not just wearing t-shirts.
You should add that to the podcast.
You could do your own OTDs.
Outfit for the day.
Outfits of the day.
This is my second outfit for the day.
Well, I am the only one that didn't take a shower, so
You haven't taken a shower yet?
everybody was in the shower when I was in there. So I don't have probably okay, but this is who I am.
We haven't got that fancy and got the pod smell yet.
But no, I know Caleb and I, we thank y'all for joining us for sure.
Thank you for having me.
It's something fun that we like to do. Like I said, it was kind of nothing special or fancy. It's just.
We'll come back anytime.
Sure.
We have a wealth of knowledge of all things,
All things.
school and mom. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
School ball.
Actually, all things, but just school and
Those
mom.
two.
Well, that's it.
Thank you for listening to Trophy Bros.
You can reach us through email at trophybrospodcast@gmail.com.
Make sure to also check us out on Facebook.
And if you like our podcast, make sure to like, share, follow, and rate us.
We're the Trophy Bros, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.